Hello and welcome to Zelda Speedruns. Today we're pleased to bring you A Link to the Past Randomizer Crosskeys Sandy match. It is the last match of the Swiss round, and this is going to determine who the last runner is, who's going to be in the 6 and 2 pool of runners who are going to be racing to see who gets into brackets. And on commentary today, I am pleased to be joined by Dane8373 and Blibberl. How you both doing today? And I'm going to run off to get the runners on the road, so thank you very much.
Hello everyone, this is Dane. I'm joined by Blibberl, like Nornado was mentioning. How are you doing today, Blibberl?
I am doing great. Very excited for this matchup. It'll be a fight now to see who gets to play in that 6-2 showdown for who gets to make it in the top 16 bracket. Linlinlin is the defending champion from last year's Crosskeys tournament, and P-Train is one of the top players as well, so it's going to be a fight to the death here.
Absolutely. Seeing these runners at 5-2 really just speaks to how strong the Crosskeys community has gotten, because these guys could easily be fighting in the championship, and yet here instead they're fighting for just a chance to even get into the playoff tournament. So I'm excited for a great match today.
All right, we're both seeing a house start with blue mail. Okay.
Yeah, that blue mail, I mean, before you find the mirror or the moon pearl, those mail upgrades can be a bit inconvenient in Crosskeys. Blue mail with low hearts isn't too bad, but if you start getting up to 6 hearts red mail, it can be a bit inconvenient.
Yeah, it's not the best start for our runners. When you're likely to expect to see death warps into your routing, so you do not want to make that any harder for you.
Yeah, it looks like both these runners are giving us the sort of Houlihan start, and we're seeing the Hyrule Castle entrance over in the Witch's Hut today, which probably check at some point, but not going to do that today before the Houlihan. It's kind of long to check those connectors, and they don't have a weapon, so they can't get the item in back.
Hoping for bomb drops from that enemy there. Taking time to kill them just to see if you can get a bomb, because if you come across something that's bombable, you don't want to have to revisit it later.
Yeah, and it's also just nice to kind of scout out what your drop prize packs guys are today, because like those buzz blobs / pickles, whatever you call them, their drop pack isn't that common. It's like penguins and gibdos and one other thing for those guys. So it's nice to scout that in the early game, but unfortunately Linlinlin was not able to see anything from them today.
And we did get to see that Ganon is at Useless Fairy Drop here. So they are doing the Houlihan. They don't have to worry about that until the very end of the game. Fortunately for our runners, it means that there is no required GT climb hiding Ganon or a required Aga 1. So that's at least something that they get to consider, is once they hit go mode and they get their crystals, there's nothing extra that they have to do.
And look, we got a little bit of a divergence in the routing. P-Train elected to go north towards the Uncle drop-down and found the Lumberjack Cave there with nothing of value on that ledge. And Linlinlin went up to those houses to the south of Eastern, wanted to check some enemy drops, and found the Big Key to Desert in Ice Rod Cave over there.
We're getting our first map. It's to Hyrule Castle, so it's nothing that they care about on P-Train's side.
Ooh, that's a nice find in that sank first chest. Always nice to find early mirror in Crosskeys. So all the sank starters are rejoicing today. They get a great item, and the Houlihan start really didn't give much today. All right, so Linlinlin shows us our tier 2 tree pole is full magics. Our tier 1 was just the 5 arrows. So unfortunately, no bombs in the easier of the 2 tree poles yet. Oh, and that's a boat and a book up in that ferry, the waterfall ferry up in the top of the forest. So Sangstar really paying off so far.
Wow. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, all Sank starters rejoice.
And unfortunately, we see Kakariko well there at the lumberjack drop down. Never like to worry about finding those castle tower smalls for those 5 items.
Yeah, I would say that our runners are hoping those 2 keys never show up, because nobody wants to fight Aga 1.
And that Sankstart over in the forest is not a bad one. It's better than over in Useless Fairy or the Hyrule Castle. Kakariko tends to be the best, but you won't really complain about that one. All right, P-Train's going to give us our first look at Back of Escape. He managed to get some bombs. I didn't see where he got them. Must have been from like an enemy drop or something.
Yeah, he only managed to pick up 2. But being rewarded with more bombs and more money.
Chat or our tracker Tawfile pointing out that front of TR is a good spot to farm bombs, so that's where he got his 2, and then got some more from Back of Escape.
Oh yes. Oh, Lin only went in, grabbed 1, and then save and quit.
Yeah, I guess he just wants to go right. He's not going to get punished. He's going to get the 3 bombs in here. He just wanted to go right to Back of Escape. And we're seeing a really early pedestal check here by P-Train, so he'll know right away if we're going to have to get our pendants. All right, that's just the blue boomerang. That is not going to be required, so anyone who prefers the blue boomerang to the red meringue is going to be a bit sad today. So I think these runners I would say they're off to a pretty nice start already. You've already got a weapon, you got a lot of early game money, you even got a few bombs, and that mirror is always really nice. You get put into the dark world anywhere, and plus just getting out of dungeons quickly. So we'll see what we can find over in Kakariko now.
Oh, and it is Thieves Drop Down, so P-Train isn't going to take a look at the item, is just going straight down for it. Just a piece of heart, but not a bad thing at this point. With the early mirror, we don't have to worry about death warping anymore, so getting armor, getting hearts is not bad for if there's any early dungeon crawls that we're going to be doing.
And over at that Kakariko fortune teller, Linlinlin found a dark room, and I'm not 100% certain, but that looked like it was the front of Old Man, and he did a drop down and then had to find the pit to get out of it. Or no, then again, he's at full health, so I didn't have his audio, so I can't tell which one that is.
And now we have found 2 of our Hyrule Castle entrances so far this match. One in Kakariko is the main entrance, and then we found that left side earlier. Not a single bunny walk today. Not a step from anyone.
Yeah, early Moon Pearl, early Amir. We got all you really want now is like an early glove to avoid orphaning locations. But that's a nice find. That's even in logic without the Hyrule Castle small, so nice to know. It's also, they got that bow and they already found Back of Escape, so they're not going to care about technically sequence breaking this back here. But yeah, that's a really nice find to get that Moon Pearl out of there.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about abandoning any Dark World checks that you happen to come across. And with that mirror in hand, you can do Dark World, Light World double checks. So this will help with very efficient routing for our runners.
We haven't, so far, other than that Moon Pearl, I haven't found anything. We'll see if the Zelda's Cell chest has anything for P-Train. And seeing Linlinlin also gets the Moon Pearl, so both these runners are really off with those early Mirror and Moon Pearls.
Just another piece of heart. Take that death.
Not electing to do Dark Cross right now makes sense. It's out of logic, and you don't have any way of seeing in the dark that well, so P-Train will come back for that later. It's not too bad of a location. And there's Misery Mire up in Blind's house. We can't go in there yet without the hookshot or the boots, but good to know about that. There's a good amount of items in there, and maybe we'll even have to beat that dungeon, depending if it's a crystal or pendant.
Well, and the bottle vendor is doling out maps to Misery Mire, so that will give us that information once we hit the Dark World if anybody does a map check. Oh, actually, turns out I'm not sure if that is accurately marked on Lynn's tracker, or if that's just Lynn's way of saying, but he has Misery Mire marked personally as Green Pendant.
Ah.
But I'm not sure if that's just something that he does, because he hasn't been in the Dark World yet.
And we're seeing Linlinlin may elect to try to get to Dark Cross, so this will be a bit difficult because he can't see in any way, really. He can shoot one arrow and drop some bombs, but no other help. Oh, it gets the big key of Skullwood, so unfortunately that's not a great big key, but it's still a nice item to find if that has anything in it. Who knows when P-Train will decide to prioritize that Dark Cross check.
And we found the dam in Kakariko there. Pulled out the cape.
Yeah, that cape is nice to find because sometimes you find yourself on top of the Hyrule Castle area, and if you don't have a sword or a Master Sword, you can't check that Agate Tower entrance, but the cape will at least give you that access. Also, if you find the Bumper Cave connector, you can take that as well. So it's nice for a couple reasons. And Linlinlin made his way through the dark connector that we saw earlier and is now on East Death Mountain. And found another annoying connector, the Spiral Cave one.
Yeah, that is a one-way trip, so check what you can before you go diving in there.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. He was in Hyrule Castle. I just saw him in the Dark Cross and got confused.
Yeah, we don't need 50 rupees, P-Train. I think we're good.
Oh yeah, he found Hyrule Castle, and that's the front of Old Man over there. So that's what happened. He went into the dark room and came out. Alright, we've got the vanilla spot for the Old Man rescue, which can be a bit perilous on 3 hearts with those dead rocks, especially what they're doing to him right now.
And P-Train just picked up the hammer inside the front of the tavern there, and is taking this opportunity to farm some bombs.
So that's actually going to be a nice find, because if P-Train finds his way up to the mountain, he'll have access to the top of the mountain on the east side with that mirror and hammer, whereas Linlinlin's only going to have the Tower of Hera side. And even though, sometimes you really like when the uncle is at that location, but having just found the hammer, it's kind of like not even that nice. Also getting the big key of Pod from our uncle, so another nice big key for the early game.
And we found Desert Palace, the main entrance. So those are 2 connectors that can be followed later on. We're going to see P-Train kind of clear up down here first before diving any connectors. Smart idea if you want to avoid getting locked out.
Yeah, absolutely. That desert palace connector has a lot of value because it's got 2 items. Or I guess no, he doesn't have the desert big, I don't think. But the desert big is available, and then it's got just the 1 item that's sitting in there. And also found Mini Moldorm Cave, so this could be some nice 5 items here.
Heart container, 10 arrows, a piece of heart, some bombs, and a compass to ice. So, not that good. Little bit of health. That's about it.
Yeah, they already have the mirror and the moon pearl, so the extra health with the blue mail is no longer going to be an issue. But yeah, nothing really of value in there.
No. And we found one of our brother's connectors. Kakariko is just full of connectors today.
Yeah, we'll see if any of those connectors end up being useful, like they take us somewhere in the Dark World. Odds are they will, because we've got Hyrule Castle, Desert Palace, and the Quarreling Brothers. So, one of them. And then there's the Compass to Thieves Town on that Ether tablet, so not going to need that.
Yes, now we have seen all entrances to Hyrule Castle.
Yes.
Now, so Hyrule Castle is out for getting us to the Dark World, but here we go. That Quarreling Brothers connector paid off. We are now in the Village of Outcasts.
Yeah, that's really convenient, because if you still want to get that desert item and check those connectors, you can just do it right after doing all of Village of Outcasts, because they actually have the hammer for now, so they can do all of... I guess you can't do hammer peg, but you can do all the other entrances in this main area.
And we found Palace of Darkness, and Linlinlin is dipping right in there. We're going to see a cheeky block deletion on P-Train's side inside Paradox Cave to get himself 7 items.
Yeah, so that pod big key is just available in the in Kakariko too. So we have the hammer and the pod big key over there. We still need plenty of keys before we can get too deep in pod, but it's nice in there. And also there was Ice Palace in that other Dark Death Mountain entrance. So the Dark Death Mountain has some nice dungeons today. And we also found the big key of Eastern over there in Paradox Cave. So they're just finding a lot of pretty nice big keys already. Though they just found a pretty not as nice Castle Tower key, because you might have to do Aga now. But the 1 key, we're okay with 1 key. And you just get the extra chest.
Yes. One key is still safe. Not pleasing, but it is safe for our runners. As long as we don't see that second one, they don't have to worry about Aga 1.
And another big item. They found a lot of the nice items, and also another big key, the Turtle Rock one. So that's already Paradox Cave and Hype Cave and Mini Moldorm Cave these runners have found.
Small key to pod, a small key to pod.
Yeah, that's going to be really nice for P-Train when he finally makes his way up to the mountain. And I say finally as if it's not only 17 minutes in, but it's fine. When he makes his way up to the mountain, he's going to have hammer, 3 pod smalls, the pod big. He's going to have a lot of stuff to do up there in pod.
Yeah, we're not seeing a whole lot other than location finds and that's basically it on Linlinlin's side, is locations. The Desert Palace big and the Skull Woods big and 1 pod small are the only items that Lin has that P-Train doesn't. P-Train seems to be getting a much better payout with his routing. And is now taking time to kind of explore the Desert Palace connectors. Going to grab that item.
He found Desert Palace right over in the Dark World and already knows where Desert Palace front is, so there's only 1 connector left here.
And Lin is now making his way through the rest of Kakariko, so he will find his items, his cape now, and he's going to activate the dam and work his way through, likely following in the same footsteps as P-Train.
Yeah, and something to point out, we just saw that lamp there on the Desert Palace torch, so that's good to know because like in Crosskeys, you'll have some things like perhaps the east side of, or west side of Death Mountain may be locked by the map, or the lamp, so that boots can have some nice logical implications if you were to go out like Linlinlin's on a sequence break right now, but if you find the boots, then you'd get back in logic.
And we have found Aga Tower, and that lamp, speaking of that lamp, will be a factor. If we don't find the boots, then we aren't getting that lamp, and so defeating Aga is not going to be in logic that way. So that's something for our runners to keep in mind if they do end up getting two castle tower keys, but don't find boots for the lamp, then they don't have to worry about what's in the well.
Yeah, it's actually pretty nice because there are some rare Crosskeys seats where Aga is required for West-East Dark World access. Now, the runners always sequence break those, but we're not going to have any of those where you'd be able to, where if the Aga is going to be required, it's going to be because of the well, or both, because you're not going to be able to get the lamp without the boots.
Yes, exactly. So that bit of information, just knowing where the lamp is and what's required for it, is going to be handy for our runners today.
And Linlinlin found the Spectacle Rock bottom. Is going to try to do the bomb jump here to get to the top side and able to pull it off. We'll get to see a free entrance here. But it's a one-way one, so not going back in through there. Good to find that, though, because now you know that location is dead, and you get to get the free item over here and maybe do a few more entrances if you want.
Oh yeah, with that mirror in hand, getting a couple of more checks here. And with the cape, we'll be able to check all 3 entrances on top of Hyrule Castle.
Yeah, I couldn't tell what that entrance was. There was a visual glitch on Linlinlin's stream on the east side. We see a Super Bunny Cave on that far west one.
And he is going back into that cave. It's the old lady connector.
And P-Train has found yet another pod small, so he's already up to, I believe, 4 now.
So the old woman let him out at Bonk Rocks, so that's an entrance that he can forget about for now.
And took the opportunity to check the Sanctuary drop-down, which we hadn't seen yet, which is the Magic Bat. So if I'm keeping track correctly, that means that Useless Fairy is behind Ganon? Or did I miss something?
Oh, I'm not entirely sure. Lynn's stream is a little pixely for me at times.
Yeah, he elected to save and quit to Old Man after checking Sanctuary, and then did the Agina Cave, and is now going to do this desert entrance. There is desert left, so that's the final desert entrance, being Hype Cave. So they're not bad connectors. They take you to some pretty useful spots, but they're pretty long, so you probably would rather just take the Quarreling Brother connector.
Yeah. I have to admit, Lynn's visual glitches are giving me this kind of vaporwave vibe, and I'm kind of here for it.
It reminds me of the glitched modes, where you get the really trippy overworlds after you use some glitches.
Ooh. Lynn's glitching.
Well, then Linlin, after the long sequence of getting locked out of this area, got put right back here through the Bumper Cave connector.
Okay, and we are getting a Bombos check on P-Train's side now.
There's the Uncle Bomb pack there, just 10 bombs on that Bombos tablet. So it's nice to have already knocked out that Bombos tablet early. It can get kind of annoying, but these runners getting the early book and mirror makes them not too bad. So looks like, P-Train's going to just do some of these light world checks that he hadn't gotten to yet with the mirror.
And finding Tower of Hera on P-Train's side. We'll take a moment to dip in, see what's to be found in here.
Oh, and maybe Linlinlin had some fortune with that early green pendant Meyer marking, because that's exactly what it is today. So he found Saha's Frollo from that flute to 5 spot in the light world, and also got the ice rod out of Saha's closet.
And that GT Big in Hera.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to do the climb for whatever's behind the climb today, but the big key, it can be nice to get the big chest when you're routing through GT, though it is a bit scary with the 0 key required items that sit in the climb.
Finding Swan Palace over on Lin's side. And another big key. This one to... Oh, that was the Desert Palace one that Lim found earlier. Oops.
Yeah, it's easy to... There's been a lot of big keys, though, already.
I forgot where P-Train was, so I just saw him walk in somewhere and pick up a key.
Yeah, these runners have surprisingly covered us. They've gone on pretty different routes so far. Which makes sense, I guess, when you get the Mirror and the Moon Pearl this early, you just have so much available to you.
So the Dark World there at the lake house is the bottom of Spiral Cave. And Spiral Cave was a very early find for our runners, but I do not believe anybody's followed it to this point, but now we know on P-Train's side where it ends up.
Yeah, P-Train's found... Linlinlin has found the top. P-Train hasn't been to Death Mountain yet to find that one. Now we got both the runners going in about the same place. I think there must have been something else, like another connector up here, because Linlinlin followed the one connector. Oh yeah, there's Super Bunny over here, and then there's Old Lady, which locks you out, and Super Bunny, which always locks you out.
Yes. It is a lose-lose. So Linlinlin is now coming back to go through Super Bunny, where Lin went through Old Lady earlier to get shoved out at those bonk rocks. She was not welcoming any visitors back in.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate, because when you have the two connectors like that, and it's the Old Lady connector is one of the fastest connectors in the game, and Super Bunny's a one-way, so you figure, okay, I can check this, and they're not even that likely to get locked out right now. It's just glove-locked entrance, boots-locked entrances, and then things like GT, and I guess the Fire Rod entrance. So you're thinking, oh, I probably won't get knocked out. I can go get Super Bunny items after, but not today.
Nope. Oh, that is a nice connector to find for Super Bunny, coming out at that bridge on Death Mountain. Without the hammer, Lin doesn't get to check what's in Mimic Cave.
Oh wow, that's great. I thought Linlinlin picked up that hammer because he was over in Kakariko and it's just kind of sitting in there.
No, Lin seems to be dipping connectors much earlier than P-Train. P-Train's routing has been pretty consistent with clearing out a whole area before following connectors. And that's what we're going to see now is P-Train going back again through Desert Palace, using that big key that he now has on hand.
Yep, he can get the big key item here and then can go back to the Dark World if that's where he wants to go after this. And just the Swamp Palace map there in that big chest, so nothing of too much value there. It'll be nice to figure out if it's Thunder Crystal, but better stuff out there. That was the big key of Eastern that Linlinlin picked up. We saw that P-Train pick that one up. So yeah, it looks like P-Train's going back into the Dark World. We'll probably see both these runners in similar spots now because, yeah, Linlinlin just walked out of Paradox Cave to the North Dark World, and P-Train's going to be going there now, too. But Linlinlin hadn't seen the bottom of Paradox yet, which is in the Village of Outcasts area, so he's going to follow that first before deciding where to go. Probably will just stay here. And that bobblehead Link pushing the statue, that just looks weird.
I love the bobblehead Link. The bobblehead Link, the swimming animation is something to see, and we have our second castle tower key. So now our runners are just hoping, in a sense, that we don't find the boots, or else Aga is then in logic.
Yeah, and unfortunately for them, with the lamp being on the Desert Palace torch, and the lamp actually doing a lot of work here in Crosskeys sometimes, with oftentimes blocking the West Death Mountain, which has like pod in it, and also just locking items in pod in Eastern, I think they're going to find those boots. They still need to find a sword too, so don't discount that. I wouldn't be surprised if they find the boots before the sword, but yeah, it's looking like that Kakariko Well is going to be in logic sooner than these runners would like.
And we have temporarily lost Lin.
Yeah, hopefully this is just a brief technical glitch. We'll try to get him back as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and, I was enjoying the glitched overlay.
So P-Train found that Turtle Rock big chest entrance over there in the Dark Lumberjack house. It's been a while since we've seen any progression items. I mean, we're only half an hour in, but we started really fast and furious with some of those progression items. We haven't seen anything new other than keys from our runners for a while. With the way I've seen it, I think they're going to find the flute or the boots soon, because if they have so much pod small keys in the big key, I think there's 4 pod smalls out there, because I'm not sure if I think there's one different between the two runners. And then if they get the flute or the boots, then they have access to the whole West Death Mountain area where pod is. But we're kind of running low on things that we've seen from one runner, but not the other at this point.
Yeah. It seems to all be kind of overlapping here now.
We haven't seen the light shopping mall or dark shopping mall from any of these runners. I don't know if P-Train full cleared Skullwoods while he was over there. I got a bit distracted by Lin's side. Oh yeah, we have this Graveyard Ledge check as well because they have the mirror already. And this is the back of Desert. P-Train thought about stealing that small key, but it's going to elect to not do that for now. You could go back and beat the boss, but that's really risky with not even knowing if it's a pendant or crystal or not. And it really is annoying when you go into Graveyard Ledge with no mitts and no boots and have to take the really long way out like that, but P-Train makes his way through it. All right, looks like we're probably going to see, with the mirror here and then have not checking Light Shopping Mall yet, this would be a really nice place to go over to the Dark Shopping Mall with this Kern jump and check that out.
Very nice jump there.
Could also elect to go up to Catfish and Zora, which is neither Zora is not in logic. No, can't go to Catfish. Sorry, no glove. And it looks like P-Train's about to make this exact same realization that I just made, where yeah, no glove can't get up there.
Nope. Yeah, we're not getting a Catfish check today.
Nope, but this Dark Shopping Mall plus Light Shopping Mall is a nice area. We'll probably see some progression from there. The Dark Shopping Mall is not in logic yet because we don't have the flippers. Well, it could be in logic if there's some random connector that takes us over there, but the Light Shopping Mall is in logic.
Thank you, chat, for making light of the situation.
Yeah, it'll be really funny if Linlinlin comes back right as he's picking up the lamp.
Oh, that would be amazing.
All right, so P-Train's in the Light Shopping Mall, which is some of the last checks in logic that we haven't seen from either of these runners, and there's nothing over here, so I don't know if we've done Mini Moldorm Cave either, or I can't remember if P-Train checked that other desert entrance when he was over by Bombo's Tablet. You think he would have, but I can't remember if he actually did.
I don't remember. I do not remember.
Yeah, because I'm just trying to think of what else have we not seen yet, these runners. Oh, and P-Train taking an unfortunate hit there, trying to fake flipper up to the pod area. That particular fake flipper is quite difficult.
Yes, it really is. And taking any damage to prevent the game from locking, it kills you instantly.
Yeah, I'm trying. So, what else? Because we found Spike Cave, but we can't go in there because no glove. Glove locks a decent amount of stuff. We found stuff like Swamp Palace, and they've pulled the dam, but they don't have the flippers, so they can't get in there at all. Oh, there's one item in logic that we have not seen from either runner, and that's the Spiral Cave top, or the Spiral Cave item, because they can get to top of East Death Mountain through Paradox Cave, and that's in logic, not through the easy to get through. Or no, it's through. They're both in the Dark World, so they can take that. And so I think like Spiral Cave is going to have the item, and it's funny because it could just be the boots. So we're probably gonna have to look for P-Train to make. P-Train hasn't found East Death Mountain yet, and there's 2 connectors up there. We've got Paradox Cave and Hyrule Castle. He just hasn't checked either of those, but he'll surely be getting to those soon because he really doesn't have anything else left to check here.
Yeah, heading down to Flute 5, and we are just... It's getting tight on what we can do. Now, he hasn't been up to Pod yet, so Pod might be the answer with his extra keys that he has on hand. He might be able to...
Well, Pod's not in logic from what we can see so far. I don't believe we saw any connectors on West Death Mountain, and they don't have the lamp to go through the old man cave. So I'm really thinking the spiral cave is going to have some sort of progression. May it be a glove or the boots to give us the lamp, which would give us the pod area.
Oh, yeah, that's possible. Or maybe even flippers?
Yeah, flippers would give us Hobo, would give us Zora, it would give us the first chest of Swamp Palace. Oh, also Mimic Cave. T-Stu pointing out that we saw that. That's up on... You have to take the Paradox Connector to get to the... or I don't think actually the Paradox Connector was that one. It's the one that takes you to the Laser Bridge entrances. I can't remember if Paradox Cave was in Spiral Cave or the Laser Eye entrance. So it looks like P-Train's making his way south towards these connectors to the Dark World. I can't remember which one was. Was there a connector in here too? Oh, it's the other dark connector.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why I wouldn't be surprised if Boots is our progression, because they've already got... They might know that those two connect to each other, but if we have... I think they might have to, because I think Linlinlin walked out of back of Old Man somewhere. It's like in the pod area, I thought. So P-Train's going to make his way out of this Desert Palace connector. This left side, I believe, takes us to Hype Cave. So we'll be back in the Dark World. Yeah, I can't remember what's over. Oh, there was I don't think he took the Bumper Cave connector yet, which he probably saw. I don't know if he went to Pod itself either. Because, yeah, when you get to this point where you just got, like, no entrances and 4 connectors in random places, it kind of can be a bit troublesome to route it, because you just got to pick one and take the long walk to it.
Yeah. It's, these aren't nice connectors, for sure.
Chad asking about Land Molas. Not in logic, because we need the Desert Palace small key for Land Molas to be in logic. They could beat it, but because of key logic, you're required to have the Desert Palace small to be Land Molas. Oh yeah, Tracker also pointing out we need a fire source to light the torches to get to Land Molas. So you could try to do Breath of the Wild blue torches with the ice rod, but you would be left disappointed.
Yep. That unfortunately is a later generation.
So, yeah, I think now let's see where Peach Rain goes. I don't know if he did Eastern Palace proper. No, he's going to walk out back to the Bumper Cave, it looks like. Oh yeah, he could also be headed over to Super Bunny because they got locked out of that one earlier. So yeah, we'll just have to see when it's really looking like it's going to be the progression somewhere on that East Death Mountain, either Mimic Cave or Spiral Cave at this point.
Yeah, we're not going to. There's nowhere else. There is nowhere else at this point for our runners.
But I think that Super Bunny top is the Mimic Cave, like Turtle Rock entrances.
Yes, it is. Yeah, that's the one that brings you out on the bridge.
Yeah, so we'll get to see what the answer is shortly, most likely over on Peach Rain's side.
Yes, our runners actually did check Ped. P-Train checked it within the first, 10 minutes of the seed. 5-10 minutes at most. And yep. Ped is dead.
It was the blue boomerang.
Yes.
Yeah, the book was one of the very early items. Oh, right over by the Sank Save, good point. Yeah, and I hope that the progression is going to be in Mimic Cave and not Spiral Cave, because just walking through Spiral Cave for progression as the last location, you just feel heated because you're like, really, this is the last spot you're going to give me, and I have to walk all the way through.
Yep.
Looks like a Spiral Cave, though. So let's see. P-Train gets to go down to East Death Mountain for the first time. And we'll see it. He'll have the choice between either sequence breaking the old man or checking the Spiral Cave item. And Chad asking if Boots could be in Pod. So it's actually interesting. If Boots are in Pod, they could be. But that would require us to have some other way to get to West Death Mountain in the Light World other than the Old Man connector. We'd have to find like a connector to the top. So if we found something like the Cane of Samaria and got to do some Turtle Rock connectors, or if we found the flute, something that would let us get over there without the boots. Because right now the boots lock the lamp, which is our only access to the pod area right now. And P-Train, I think P-Train will definitely want to take this Spiral Cave because he just knows there's not much left and it's an item. So yeah, it's not an easy decision because Spiral Cave is not a fun location, but you need that item.
Yep.
So we'll have to see. We'll see what item is here. If unless I'm forgetting something, it should be something. Boots would make a lot of sense, and at least would be a nice reward for walking through Spiral Cave. Cane of Burna, though, so that doesn't give us anything yet. It does put Spiral Cave into logic with a glove, but yeah, there must be at least one other item location out there that I have missed.
I'm racking my brain, and I can't think of it. Like, this has been a very thorough check from both of our runners while Lynn was still with us.
Yeah, maybe the mini Moldorm cave entrance, and they never got around to that. It doesn't look like where P-Train is headed, because of the way they routed the seed. They went by desert and did the dam, and then they did the light shopping mall through the dark shopping mall. So this is possible. And about the desert cave, they did Linlinlin did a Gina's cave before he came here. And also the desert entrance. I don't know if they did the cave outside of desert, though. The one that's right by the purple chest guy. I don't know if we've seen that one yet. So we'll get to see if P-Train has, in fact, checked that. Here or not. Well, this is an item. It's just the pod compass, so yeah, still not it yet.
Nope.
Yeah, and I also can't remember if P-Train did because I think we might have had the bad Skullwoods layout, and then he didn't do the other part of it, but I can't recall. So Linlinlin showed us this a while ago. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I believe it was just nothing.
Yeah, it was glitching out pretty hard when Lynn came in here earlier.
Oh, it was a 20 rupee in this one.
Yep.
All right, so sufficiently bottlenecked. We'll see where P-Train elects to go. Taking a second to think about it, because sometimes you just get in these seeds where there's just not that much left that they can do, and you just got to think of, okay, do I want to? You really want to stay in logic when you're this bottlenecked, because that means that like whatever you forgot is going to have some sort of regression. Because there's some sequence break options like that old man connector or bomb jumping turtle rock. Also got a quick map check seeing Eastern is a red crystal. So let's see what one of these connectors down here that P-Train wants. Looks like he's going to the Quarreling Brothers connector. Which would make sense if he didn't clear out Skullwoods already, because that would drop him off right in front of there. Yep, looks like that's where he's headed. Because I think that he did the vanilla big key chest, and there was some sort of key in there, I believe, and then it was the bad layout of Skullwoods, so he didn't want to do that and get kicked out of the Dark World. And the Wall Master being a bit difficult here.
And there we go.
All right, so you got to figure it's going to be something in here now, because there's not much left. The big key of Skullwoods is available, but not in logic. It's in the Dark Cross chest, so P-Train does not have that. And there's the flippers, so that gives us Hobo, Zora, and first chest of Swamp, so that could be the progression.
And Waterfall.
Yes, true, Waterfall entrance as well.
Yep.
And also the Light Shopping Mall, Dark Shopping Mall stuff we already saw was nothing. And we get the entrance to the Light World side of Ice Palace, the upgrade ferry. So easy call here for P-Train. Just opened up, all the stuff that's opened up is right in this area, so just go over and get it.
Yeah, just pop on over. Let's see what it has to give us today.
And these runners, or at least one of these runners, had got the map to Swamp, because that would tell us whether or not those flippers are going to be hard required today.
Hobo has for us the shovel. Another fetch quest, but it might be our progression.
Yeah, you'll probably see him check that if it doesn't get progression from the Zora area, because there's just not anything else left to do. And we see a king's tomb down here. Nice Sank Heart appearance today. Yeah,
I've enjoyed chat.
Yeah, I mean, they were complaining it's too big, and now they shrunk it. I don't know what the problem is. All right, so P-Train has found Blind's Hut, and I believe that's the waterfall area entrance. And no progression yet. Still got the back over here. Did find some nice money. And the map of Thiestown, which that really just makes sense to find in Blind's Hut. Like, he's got to know how to get around his workplace.
Yes, exactly.
So we've got Zora Ledge, and that shovel. So we'll see what we're gonna get from those three. If we'll finally get broken out of the bottleneck. There's a number of items that could break us out pretty definitively, like those boots.
Yeah, there.
So that boots gives us a lot of stuff, because the boots themselves do not give us very much stuff, because we've got like what, 2 entrances with them, 3 I guess. We got King's Tomb, and then the Bonk Rocks by Link's house that we haven't seen. Already saw the Sank Bonk Rocks, but importantly, that boots gives us the lamp from Desert Palace Ledge, or Torch, which would give us the West Dark World, and there's also a glove for good measure over on Zora. So now P-Train's gonna have a lot of stuff to do. That glove just opens up regular Dark World access. It opens up all the glove-locked entrances. It opens up Spike Cave. But I think you'll probably see P-Train grab that lamp from Desert, make his way. Maybe not if he wants the lamp, at least. It's his first fire source, so you probably grab it. But he got the West Dark World available since he knows about the Old Man connector.
Yeah. And he also... I know it's probably not going to be something he wants to do right away, but there is the well.
Yep, once he gets... he still needs a sword to be able to get to the well. But once he gets that lamp, he's gonna be close.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really annoying when you have both the Castle Tower Smalls and the boots and the lamp kind of like this sort. It's not that early in the race because this race has been such a bottleneck, but it's still relatively early, and it just sits over you for a long time. All right, so P-Train with the lamp in hand can make his way back up to the mountain. And I think the only way he knows about is that Super Bunny connector. So we'll see if that's where he elects to go. So maybe there'll be something over here that will be more appealing. And here's Eastern Palace. P-Train has the big key for here and the bow, so can just full clear this dungeon, which is always nice.
Yeah. Not having to double dip Eastern is a blessing.
And even more, he actually knows it's a crystal, so it's just automatic. You find it, you do it. Because some runners will dip Eastern without the big key or the bow. It takes a while to get to do like a double dip just because Eastern's quite a linear dungeon.
Yeah, it's one of those things that it's a very heated debate in the community of dipping Eastern without all of the items needed to go through it.
And there we see the flute there. So those boots are just hard locking West Death Mountain because the boots lock both the flute and the lamp, which are our two easiest ways to get up there. There also is the connector to the top of Death Mountain, which you can use the mirror to get there, but that's not something that would have been logic either.
Yeah. Those boots broke the seed.
At least now they've got everywhere to go and can go there fast.
Nothing in the big chest except for a big 20.
I think it's pretty straightforward now for P-Train after Eastern. You just go, you do the shovel quick on the way, and then activate your flute, and then the mountain is open. It's got plenty of items, really quick to get to.
And another big 20.
Yep, it's definitely good that P-Train gets to just full clear Eastern here because dipping here, I mean, you get the flute, which is nice for moving around, but doesn't really give us anything yet. It might give us the mire area if we don't get a connector over there, which we haven't found one yet, but there's still a good amount of connectors out there with 2 Turtle Rock entrances still outstanding, and then something like the Fairy Ascension Cave hasn't been found yet. P-Train making his way over to Armos. It's a bit annoying for this next coming up room when you don't have a sword, because these guys are just so nice to kill with the sword spin. You have to do some arrow strats instead.
Yeah. There we go. And into Armos Knights. Should be a pretty easy fight for P-Train.
Yep, definitely a fight that he's done a bunch of times, and just, gets it done. Gets the big key to Misery Mire, which we have found that dungeon. Also, those boots give us access to Misery Mire. We don't have the cane, so you probably won't want to go in there just yet, since it still has a lot of other stuff. But it's good to get that. Yep, looks like P-Train's got the shovel out, gonna go over, check that shovel spot, and then get the flute activated, and then really start to check the main piece of the seed that are still left unseen for him.
Yes. We will get that mire area and those mountain checks done.
Yeah, and that bottle's actually a nice find because that's his first bottle, and we haven't found Sick Kid yet. So it's nice whenever you have something like Sick Kid or the Witch's Hut to just be able to knock it out in one check.
And these boots making it a speedy little run right up to activate that flute.
Yep, boots, flute, and mirror should be a nice seed in terms of mobility from this point forward. Yep. So we get the main thing we'll get to see over here that's new that we didn't see when Linlinlin was over here about an hour ago will be the deeper checks into Palace of Darkness, because P-Train has the big key, he has 3 small keys, he's got a bow, so he can do most of Pod right now.
Yes.
And there's also Ice Palace over here, which we can't get into yet, but if there is, and there was that Pod Small that I thought Linlinlin had gotten one that P-Train hadn't. So with 4 Pod Smalls, you can do almost all of Pod for sure. And maybe you get a fire source that lets you go into Ice Palace.
Yeah, that would be nice. Where both those dungeons are right next door to each other.
Yeah, it'd be a bit nicer if they were in the opposite order, because it is still a long trek to get back up to that upper drop down from the lower one. And they don't have the sword or the hook shot, so V-Train can't set up the super speed glitch, unfortunately.
Getting that nice revive from the potion shop.
Yep, so just going to check this one more drop down, then we'll be able to... We'll actually have to see if he wants to go and do the Pod and Ice Palace entrances first. You'd think so, but he also has the option to go to the upper East Dark World that we haven't seen yet. Yep, I'm going to go right down here and see Ice Palace, even before checking Tower of Hera or the Ether Tablet. Which makes sense, because you're going to check those when you go over to the... When you go to Hera, you're going to go over to the East Upper Death Mountain.
Yes. And here we are in Pod. And let's see what's new in Pod for us.
Yeah, because we'll probably see P-Train get to do all but one chest. Because we don't know if Helm was a crystal or a pendant or not, but it would be nice to probably just knock it all out and leave just the vanilla big key chest.
Oh my gosh! Okay, so my tag team partner this evening has just joined for co-coms with Dane for the remainder of the match. I have to go to work, unfortunately, and so I will be replaced by definitely not Blibberl.
I mean, is it wrong?
Oh my god. Oh, I can't breathe. Oh, lordy. Whew. Okay. Okay, well, have fun. Have fun, guys.
Apparently I killed Blibberl, I apologize.
Yeah, I guess you were replacing her anyway. So.
I'm crying. It's okay. I can die happy. Thank you all. Have a good night. Hopefully Lynn will find his way out of this dark room soon. See you all. Bye-bye.
Yeah, so quick leave recap for anyone new joining the stream. Since now my new co-commentator is joining, it'll be a good time to give a quick recap for what's happened. So Linlinlin's stream's unfortunately been down for about 50 minutes or so at least. But for P-Train, it was really logically gated by the boots for a long time. So we found the hammer, mirror, moon pearl, and bow quite early this seed. But other than just finding some nice big keys, they didn't really find much with those. But eventually, P-Train got the flippers out of Skullwoods and then found the boots on Zora Ledge, which gave him both the lamp to get to the West Death Mountain where he is now, and also Eastern Palace entry for the flute. So now that he's got those, he's got Pod now and all of Death Mountain, so really starting to break the seed open.
But yeah, it seems like he's pretty flush. Yeah, unfortunately, looks like Lynn's offline on Discord too, so I suspect he's either dealing with an internet outage or power outage. Definitely hoping it's internet and not power.
Yeah, because then if he has the local recording, this race can still be recorded. It would be a bit secret for the time being, but you definitely don't want to see a runner at this stage of the tournament have to deal with a power outage like that.
Yeah, and unfortunately, doesn't look like, or at least he hasn't said anything in race time, so I don't know if he hasn't noticed, if it's internet. Obviously, if it's power, he's noticed. Lynn is not one of those people who doesn't have a cell phone. They do exist. They are in the rando community. And so I assumed if he had actually lost power, we probably would have seen something. So I'm just going to hope it's we're just going to sit here and hope very, very hard that it's just an internet outage. As P-Train finishes off Helmasaur King here and finds the hook shot at Helmasaur King.
Yeah, that hook shot's a nice find.
Helmasaur King.
Yeah, makes it an even nicer find because Helmasaur is not a very quick check, and also Linlinlin had already been in pod a long time ago. Getting a quick map check, seeing Thieves Town being a crystal, Swamp being a red, and Mire being a regular pendant. But what I was saying is that Linlinlin made his way over here quite early in the seed with just the one pod small and bow, so he'd already knocked out some of it, so when he comes back, he might know it's a pendant and might not want to do Helmasaur, might want to do some of the quicker checks in the back.
Yeah, this is also kind of a nasty spot to get to, though, as it is. Like West Dark Death Mountain in general is a pretty nasty spot. And so I kind of would guess that Lynn would be looking to put it off until he has at least 5 keys so that he can full clear it if necessary.
Yeah, because the pod keys were actually all really early. We haven't seen the 5th one, but the 4th one was pretty quick. So Linlinlin actually had 3 within 20 minutes of the seed. And the one thing that would, I think, draw him back here a little quicker is that Ice Palace is right next door in that other drop down for Dark Death Mountain. So if you were to find Fire Source, then you'd be able to go over there and clear that out at some point.
Yeah, and I also think it would depend on whether he were to... I mean, I think it also is going to depend on whether he has the map for it or not. Because I suspect if he doesn't have the map, we would just see him instantly just say, I'm going to kill Helmasaur in case it's a crystal.
Yeah, for sure. And something I mentioned earlier, we don't have a sword yet, so we can't actually use that Bombos Medallion to get into Ice Palace. So, well, there's the sword, though. So now I was thinking that maybe they have so much left to do and not that much to go. So it would make sense if they found Ice Palace access in pod.
Yeah, not a lot to do logically in Ice Palace right now, though, with it looks like no keys thrown out there so far.
That's true. Because that hook shot, from what we've seen, actually, I don't think it even gives these runners anything, because they've already done East Death Mountain. They found Swamp Palace, but they don't have the small, and we haven't seen Hookshot Cave yet, though Hookshot Cave could just be sitting up on top of Death Mountain.
Yeah, but that map check was actually pretty big for P-Train, because... obviously, absent knowing what Lynn is doing right now, it's... I mean, if Swamp ended up being a pendant, then you end up, unless something's on pedestal or an Argus, or in the back of Swamp Palace, you end up not needing that at all. And so that does actually mean that the hookshot is going to be hard required, which means both runners are going to be needing to kill Helmasaur this seed. Oh, and apparently Pet is dead.
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you for slaughtering the bad memes before I got here.
Yeah, P-Train checked Ped 5 minutes into the seed because the Sank start was in the forest, and the north forest entrance was the waterfall fairy, which had the book. So just walked over to pedestal.
Yeah, it's a pretty good excuse.
And there's the map to Ice Palace, which is a kind of nice find because Ice Palace is right there. They can go in, and you'll know if it's pendant or crystal.
Yeah, although annoyingly, I mean, if you wanted to do it right now, you would have to go to the Dark World, and that's kind of annoying. Like, if you decide, hey, I want to skip this, you're not going to be in a Dark World to actually check the map.
Yeah.
But, I mean, still nice to know, given that it's a benefit. And I think that was P-Train's hesitation there for a second on the Legends. He kind of thought, do I want to make this play into Ice Palace while I'm here? To which the answer is no. No, he does not.
Yeah, because we haven't seen these drop downs yet. Here's we already know where the reds are. They're eastern and swamp. But it's nice to find that bomb vendor. Though actually, we already know what the pyramid crack is. Though I think only Linlinlin knows that he bomb jumped Spectacle Rock and found that to be the pyramid crack.
Sorry, you have to give me a second. I realized I was watching on the stream and not on the comm view. And so I realized I'm about 20 seconds behind you.
Okay, that would be confusing.
Okay, there we go. I'm like, wow, that was a really fast talk on the bomb shop time, yeah. But yeah, East Death Mountain, I mean, these drop-downs are kind of the bane of a lot of people's existence. Honestly, like, there's a lot of ways to get, like, really tilted from losing a seed, but I gotta feel like your opponent dropping down to Spiral Cave when you drop down to the middle, in the Spec Rock drop-down, or in the East Death Mountain drop-downs has gotta be right up at the top.
Yeah, because you're thinking, okay, there's no way my opponent decided to do one entrance instead of two, but sometimes your opponent will do that. But luckily for these runners, they found the Laser Eye Turtle Rock entrance, and they had the mirror, so they already checked Spiral Cave.
Okay. Well then, yes, that is good.
And Ice Palace is a crystal today.
Alright. Not sure how I feel about that map check. Probably would have liked to have a little bit more information before I went for it, since it's not like P-Train was in any dire straits of going to Ice Palace from where he was anyway, but not a big deal.
Oh, I think this is an Aga Tower play here by P-Train, because we know Kakariko well is behind Aghanim, and he doesn't have that many other locations left, because like you said, Ice Palace only has a few items in Logic, whereas all 5 of the Cackle items are in Logic.
Yeah, I was saying, it looks like he has 1 key left, so he got all the items out of Castle Tower already. It's hard to just, like, say, here is the well, I'm going to skip it.
Yeah.
It's just always difficult.
And the way this seed played out, they had both the Castle Tower smalls quite early, and then the boots leading to Lamp was one of the main bottlenecks of the seed. So honestly, the sword and pod, which is still in Logic, because that was blocked by 4 pod smalls, that was really the last piece to make the well available.
Yeah, and where did the bombos end up being in pod? Was it in the 6 key lock spots, or was it in a 4 key lock spot?
It was in a 4 key lock spot. It was in the turtle.
Okay, so at least that's going to end up being in Logic too.
Yeah. And that Bombo's getting some nice usage here because it kills these guys quicker than... I mean, you can use the bow to kill them pretty quickly, but Bombos is nice and quick too.
Yep. I mean, these are kind of annoying to do on Fighter Sword anyway.
Because I think that some of the main other things that P-Train has available other than this, there are just some isolated glove-locked entrances that we have not seen yet, because that the glove was also on Zora. So the boots were on Zora Ledge, and the glove was on Zora, so P-Train's been following the boots so far, but the glove is still also something that has yet to be resolved.
I believe that is what we call a nauseated face emoji in response to that location.
Yeah.
Not really what you want to see, especially because especially if you get that early mirror, a lot of times you're going to be trying to combo the Zora area with the catfish play if you can. And so knowing that that's basically impossible with the glove there is not really my definition of a good time.
Yeah, and you can also get a bit worried because the main bottleneck actually for P-Train was getting the flippers out of Skullwoods, and if his opponent decides to just go to Zora area out of Logic for whatever reason, you get quite rewarded.
Yeah, I mean, knowing Lin as I do, he's not... I believe the term we would usually use is he's not really a Migo fake flipper kind of player. But obviously, depending on where you get spit out in connectors, depending on just like how your route ends up, like sometimes it is just the best play for where you are. And so, speculatively commentating anyway, because Lin is dead, I mean, down.
Yeah, it's hard to really say. When he left, he hadn't even finished up Kakariko, so...
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, like, this is kind of an interesting view for chat, especially for, like, people who don't race a lot, because a lot of what you're doing in a 1v1 as you're playing is you're actually kind of evaluating this stuff, is where you're sitting in P-Train shoes and you're saying, well, these boots kind of sucked. Is my opponent someone who's going to be there or not? I'm going to feel ahead or behind to these boots, and consequently, am I going to feel ahead or behind to the major progression in these scenes? And a lot of times, the way that you're going to route, how aggressively you're going to play, what skips you're going to do, a lot of those come from those sorts of reads. It's why I know I at least greatly prefer one-on-one format for racing versus bigger races, because it's a lot like there's just kind of that chess game going on at the same time. And also, I'm not sure, has P-Train been up here to the castle before?
Yeah, it was actually, that was how we got to East Death Mountain. We've got 2 connectors up there. The old lady takes us to Bonkrocks, and then Super Bunny takes us to the Laser Eye Mimic Cave area.
I'll say, without knowing that, one of the things I was going to say is sometimes runners will also use that as basically this is my transportation to the top of castle play, where you basically say, hey, it would have taken me a minute to run to castle anyway, and I just want to check the top. I'll invest an extra minute to kill Aga out of it, but at the consequence of I basically get 50% off for my Aga kill.
Yeah, those sort of routes in Crosskeys are really nice, where you kind of see, like, the 50% off is a really good way to put it, because that's kind of how I think of it too. Like, you get a temporary discount on certain checks if they fit into your route right now only, and you'd have to pay extra time otherwise.
Yeah, and I think if you watch Lin play enough, he's someone who's really, really good at doing things like that. The way he's going to the way he puts together routes is just genuinely phenomenal. As P-Train is heading up this way, I'm guessing he's going into the dark. Oh, say, has he been up to the sort of North Dark World area, or is he planning on looping that in with the mirror right here? Would be my best understanding of where his route's going to go.
So we've been to the North Dark World, but the Bumper Cave entrance was glove locked, so they haven't checked that. There's also the Turtle Rock right entrance up here, so he could sequence break. Well, I guess we already know where Turtle Rock left is, so it's not worth a sequence break, but it is in logic because Turtle Rock left is available to go to, say, the Chomp Room. So it might be just that. And also he has the Skullwoods big chest, so he can knock that out too.
All right. I will note, by the way, that Lin has come back online on Discord.
Well, that's good. Hopefully he's doing all right over there with his race. P-Train too good for the bomb jump, going to use hover to get over to this big chest, just for $50 though.
Always wish when I see people doing that the Moldorm comes up and punts them.
Moldorms against hovering unite. Though I think Moldorms would be for hovering, because that means that the big Moldorms get to live longer.
I mean, it kind of depends on the cultural structure of Moldorms, though. Like, maybe the Moldorm dying means that another Moldorm gets promoted, and so if they want to become the chief of the Moldorm clan, some are gonna die.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know about the power struggle of the mini Moldorms versus the big Moldorms.
And this is what happens when you get people calling a 1v1 that is just a 1v none.
Yeah,
we start pondering these sorts of questions. Alright.
Yeah, unfortunately there was the bad layout of Skullwood, so there's really no good way to check that. I'm sure P-Train wanted to do that because he knew that Dark Cross was available and his opponent could have gotten it very early. And in fact, he did, because we saw Linlinlin grab that when he was still with us.
Yeah, I was saying, I guess not having that Skullwood's big, probably P-Train just wanted to be sure that he wasn't going to get bit by anything there, especially because Skullwood's big is just kind of a nasty check to route in if you do the rest of Skullwoods first.
Yeah, and there's not going to even be that many good reasons to come up here. Seeing the Desert Palace over there is a pendant, which I believe that gives us full knowledge of our, crystals and pendants.
Yes, it does.
Because what I was saying is there's really not much of a reason to come up to the North Dark World after this. I guess if you they have the big key to Turtle Rock now, so he can get that big chest. If I can't recall if he got it already. I don't think he did, because he didn't have a way of getting over there when he was over here last.
I mean, you can get over there with a bomb.
Yeah, but I also don't.
Bomb jump isn't too bad.
I don't think he even had the big key at that.
Oh, sorry, but if he did have the big key, then it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, the bomb jump is it's not too bad.
Alright, 2 of 5 in, and this well play is not filling P-Train with joy. Nope. So Aga does lock the hook shot. And I wonder if that's just kind of what it's pointing to in the logic.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense as to why the keys did show up. That's a funny place for the cane.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a frustrating place for the cane, too. And especially, have they found Laser Bridge at this point?
We have not found Laser Bridge. That's the only Turtle Rock entrance that's not been found yet.
So it becomes especially kind of frustrating when you don't even have a small key. And we'll see, I suspect what we're going to see here is he's just going to do the chain jump in the lava chest. But if he really wanted to be bold, he could steal this key and use that to head to Laser Bridge. It would be very out of logic, and I would probably dislike the play. And he's thinking of, I think that's what that pause was there, too. As he was like, do I really want to open this chest?
Yeah, that's definitely the sort of play that it's like a high variance sort of play, because if Laser Bridge has the goods and it's in a bad location, like it could, for instance, still be the top of... We haven't seen Laser Bridge or top of Bumper Cave or top of Death Mountain, so it's pretty likely that Turtle Rock or Laser Bridge is only going to be accessible through the Cane of Samaria.
On the other hand, it feels real bad to steal that key, and you do some really bad orphaning of the lava chest in doing so.
Yeah, absolutely. It's totally understandable. I think if you had one small key, you definitely just go right to Laser Bridge here. You probably get those two chests too. But...
Yeah, no, you get those two chests and you go to Laser Bridge because your end state on your route would be to see where you get spit out of from Laser Bridge. But unfortunately, P-Train's going to have to come up here and grab Crystal Roller without a small key to continue.
Unless this is a bailout small key, but not today. So one of the main areas that's available for P-Train right now is Misery Mire. That Misery Mire small will make routing it easier. And that's kind of funny how the Turtle Rock entrances are like that, where they're both next to each other.
Yeah, and that Misery Mire small also... I mean, that Misery Mire small is logically irrelevant. There's a couple checks in Mire that are locked by a key to Misery Mire. But when I say a key, I mean literally a small or big key to Misery Mire, because it means that you have guaranteed access to a crystal switch.
Yeah, the one small key is very helpful for the routing of it.
But yes, one small key makes it a lot easier to route, because you can route left side first, which is by far the fastest way to route Misery Mire in Key Sanity modes.
Yeah, because as far as in-logic stuff they've got Spike Cave available, which is in Kakariko, Misery Mire, which is also in Kakariko. They can do some of Ice Palace. And then for like out-of-logic stuff, he could go down to Tower of Hera and do a Hera Pod. I can't remember what was up. Oh, King's Tomb is the one, because we've already seen all the other boot slot checks. This is the last one.
Yeah, and I mean, he could do that. I'm really not a fan of going out of your way to sequence break in Crosskeys. So, like, if I'm in Tower of Hera and I already have a hook shot, I will almost always Hera Pot and kill the boss. But I'm not going to say, hey, you know what, I'm going to go take an extra trip specifically down to Tower of Hera to do something out of sequence.
Yeah, makes sense. And with that entrance there, so we've already seen all the top of the mountain and the item. The only thing P-Train could have gotten out of that was the one... or no, actually, he could have gotten 3 entrances, so I'm kind of a bit surprised to see him not do it. Oh, so Top File saying that he's going to kill Landmolus first, perhaps, because that's over in Graveyard Ledge. Yeah, that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. You're not going to want to leave this behind. I'm actually a little surprised that he didn't go here before even checking the entrance, to be honest. Maybe he was hoping for something to make the fight a little bit more pliable, but I guess with Ice Rod it's really not that difficult.
Yeah, because when he had found this last time, that was prior to finding the lamp, so was not able to get to Landmolus. So desert is a pendant, so we're not don't necessarily need to beat this, but it could still be something here. And land mold isn't too long of a kill.
Yeah, and I mean, more than anything else, you're just not going to put yourself in a position where you want to say, hey, I'm going to leave behind this and then have to come back here later.
Yeah, it's such a bad location to get back to.
Ooh, misses a couple of the Ice Rod shots, so he's going to have to fall back onto either NMG or Hammer Strats here in a second. But does at least get 2 of the 3 down with it. Looks like Hammer is going to be P-Train's preferred poison of choice here. Definitely up there with my least favorite weapons to fight this boss with.
Yeah, I would prefer
basically this exact reason. I don't prefer bow because I don't play NMG.
Well, I prefer it to hammer. I would rather use a lot of other things.
I would probably use the Fighter Sword over both of them, even though I knew I would be dropping time, just because I can be reliable with it. That being said, looks like this Pendant Desert is not going to be anything. But I mean, there is value, like I said, like there is value to doing things you don't need to do, because I think a lot of what happens in Crosskeys Seeds is you'll usually see both runners end up a single item for go mode. And what tends to determine who's going to come out on top more often than not is who hits that mode with less stuff left that they have to do. In particular, less stuff that is just like bad entrance or like bad spots to come back to, because that's the stuff that really starts to eat up time at the end of a seed, is when you just are in a position where it's like, hey, I'm looking for a Thieves Town big key, let me go check the Ice Palace big chest, let me go check cutscene chest to Misery Mire, so on and so forth.
Yeah, so that definitely makes sense to do that. Very not nice to get back to Graveyard Ledge location. And we see that Turtle Rock today is Bombos Medallion, which they do have, but do not have the mitts, so cannot open that entrance.
And yeah, it's definitely bad when you last location a required item. But really what you want to do is you want to be playing risk negative effectively, so that you don't want to put yourself in a position where you're going to just miss something that your opponent's going to get and you're going to have to come back to later. And again, like this is the way you approach this is different when you're playing a 1v1 versus a big race versus like whether you're a favorite, whether you're an underdog. All of these things are things that you're going to see other people kind of change their route depending on these things. And I suspect with Lin being last year's champion, P-Train's going to feel like he's an underdog. Us having no idea where Lin is right now, we have no idea if he is an underdog. Alright. So here comes the likely 7 of 8 play for Ice Palace from P-Train.
Yeah, Ice Crystal makes sense to clear it out. Not in logic, but with what we've seen from the seed, there's not that much left. You've got Pendant Mire and Spike Cave are the main things. Also stuff like First Chest of Swamp Palace available, but not really running thin on options, so it makes sense to just clear out your crystal, and you have to leave behind the big chest, but not the end of the world.
Yeah, although this is, I mean, like we said, like this Ice Palace is nasty to get back to. Hold on, I'm going to close my window with the loud truck outside. This Ice Palace is going to be kind of nasty to get back to, and so this is feeling like one of those things that's just going to possibly be a last location for P-Train when he comes through. And having no big key, he does have to turn around and bop this switch quickly before he icebreakers on over.
Yeah, and like we were mentioning earlier, without any of the Ice Palace small keys, you're going to have stuff like Freezor Chest is in Logic, and Ice Tea are going to be in Logic, but stuff like this one over here, I believe, is not in Logic.
All this stuff on the... Well, this stuff on the right is in Logic if the hookshot is in Logic.
Okay, so then yeah, there will be that would
So
be
it's
still out of logic.
a single small key out of logic. But I know I usually assume, especially for like high small key dungeons, that I'm just missing one small key out in the world.
There's the Ice Palace big key, a welcome find.
Oh, and I do wonder if part of the reason P-Train didn't beat the dungeon when he was here earlier, if it was kind of a trying to greed out for that cane of Samario so that he could Icebreaker.
Oh, well, by the time, yeah, he didn't have the cane when he passed by and beat Pod, but the first time he saw Ice Palace, didn't have any way of getting in. But yeah, that's a good point, and it did pay off for him to get in. There's the Desert Small, so now that Lanmola skill is also in logic.
I mean, to a degree it does pay off, but there's also the cost of coming back to Ice Palace to revisit it.
That is true.
And it could also be that his reasoning for it was less that and more, I don't want to orphan this big chest because orphaning the big chest sucks.
Yeah,
like,
you figure you're going to
terrible spot to come back to.
And you figure you're going to be checking those entrances on Death Mountain that he checked, so you might just find the Ice Palace big key while you're over there. And yeah, you lose a little bit of time climbing back up to Ice Palace, but it's probably worth the risk for that. So that small key to desert also gives us the 2 as desert right side chests now. So if P-Train still hasn't found anything nice in Ice Palace, he'll probably want to go over there just because that's also next to stuff like Spike Cave and Mire.
Yeah, I was saying that Master Sword should basically allay any kind of execution worries that P-Train may have been having.
Yeah, because that was about to be a no Fire Rod, Fighter Sword, Cold Stare, which you can use the hammer for.
I mean, it would have been a hammer Cold Stare, and to be fair, like, he does have the boots, so if he's feeling uncomfortable, he can put himself in a hook dash state, which makes the upward hammer hitbox a lot easier to land hits with.
And even having the Fighter Sword versus being swordless is really nice because you can get that spin off on the buffs and group them up with the hammer hits.
Yeah, you can group them with just the hammer, but you gotta be real confident in what you're doing.
Yeah.
As P-Train spins a little bit early, and so he loses his nice grouping here, so this is gonna be a little bit of a slow fight.
And luckily has that blue potion to make this fight a lot less perilous.
Yeah, P-Train's probably going to be pretty upset with himself that he let those puffs get away, because it does make this fight a lot harder to control.
Yeah, this fight goes from being pretty simple, actually, if you get them in the corner, to being a quite difficult fight if you just miss that one spin.
But does pick up his second Crystal of the Seed here. Admittedly out of logic with no small keys. But not that anything was on Cold Stare, and not that it's a red crystal, so it's not like the logic particularly matters.
Yeah, because I believe that Desert Small was in an in-logic spot. I think that was a Freezor chest, I believe. And it's going to get that vanilla big key chest and pod place here. It makes a lot of sense, because it's not that long, and you're never going to want to be back here again.
Yeah, this is very much a I'm never coming back here play. Which, I mean, I get it. I don't want to come back here either.
Yeah, it was really nice to find that Ice Palace big key, because now you don't even have to think about coming back here. He definitely would have been a laugh location there, but it's just nice to not have any mental load thinking about going over here again.
Yep. And it is, of course, nothing in this chest.
Yeah, so we'll see where P-Train elects to go now. It would make a lot of sense, I think, if he went over to the Kakariko area for Mire, Spike Cave, and Right Side Desert, but we'll see if maybe there's something else more interesting. You could also do Skullwoods, which that looks like that's where he's going now, because you're gonna have to beat Skullwoods, and it's gonna get a little faster with the Fire Rod, but the bomb jump is not at all difficult.
No, not really. It's you can basically just force yourself against the wall and use that as a perfect lineup that'll just work every time.
And also finding Thieves Town over in this glove lock spot. Don't have the big key yet, but you can get these 4 items.
Yeah, and not really any time loss from having to double dip Thieves Town, especially with a mirror to make it easy to just pop out.
Yeah, Thieves Town really feels like a 4-item cave plus a dungeon in the back.
Yeah, plus the probably most orphanable chest in the entire game, too, in the big chest. Since it's easy to beat blind with literally just the big key, but you need both the hammer and the small key to be able to not orphan that big chest in. A lot of times you'll see races turn if one runner makes a more aggressive play into Thieves Town to kill the boss and miss something in the big chest.
Yeah,
but nothing in the front here.
And there's another GT small key, which we still have not found Ganon's Tower. I would not be surprised if it's accessible. It could still be in the Misery Mire area, but we've got a few glove-locked entrances left to check, which that looks like P-Train's going to go over and get the one in Light Shopping Mall.
Yep, and I mean, they're sitting there with a lot of GT keys as well. And yeah, if the Thieves Town big key was on Ether Tablet, P-Train would have picked it up before leaving from Ice Palace. Or honestly, before even going to Ice Palace.
Yeah, it was the compass.
The P-Train going around just kind of trying to clear up a lot of these orphans that have sprung up. Right side desert, Pod big key, some of these glove entrances that got orphaned.
Yeah, because I actually wouldn't be surprised if the mitts oftentimes in Crosskeys don't really give you much, but if they're locking GT, that would be giving us quite a lot.
Yeah, and especially with us having the flute already. I don't know, do we have a connector to Mire? Judging from P-Train's tracker, it doesn't look like it, but...
Nope, we have not found one. It's unlikely we will because we still have not found a laser bridge or a top-up bumper connector. Because the only we haven't found the... I think we're missing one connector other than laser bridge, but we found all the other ones. On Top File pointing out, yeah, no one jumped down Spec Rock because Linlinlin did it, but got locked out of the top after the bomb jump.
And for all we know, may have dropped down Spec Rock very recently, but we will never know the truth, unfortunately.
Spike Cave not paying off today. Oh, I don't even know if P-Train has seen this old man save and quit yet. Yeah, it's the Desert Useless. I can't remember where the back takes us, but I think it's Kakariko.
That's not exactly where you want your save and quit spot to be. It can be useful in like a couple of fringe occasions, but more often than not you want something a little bit more impactful. Although thankfully at least Sank is in the forest, so it's not like you're dealing with a lumberjack start or a castle start or something that can just really make all your entrances feel bad. And you have the flute, which means none of your entrances really feel that bad.
Alright, so I think P-Train is going to follow that other dark connector up here now that he knows that it's not connected to the other dark connector down in CAC, because we haven't seen this one's probably just going to take us to Laser Bridge or Bumper Cave Top, though.
So you can kind of tell which one is which in the dark, but it's a little bit of a subtle skill, and it also just sometimes doesn't really matter.
Yeah. I think he pretty much just noped out of these ones right away.
I think my most absurd start I've ever made to a seed involved me like doing this connector in the dark as a bunny, and then using that to get onto Death Mountain at like the 1 minute and 30 mark when my opponent didn't get there for an hour and a half. But you kind of have to be committed to doing it if you want to go for it. But yeah, that was not the answer either in that dark cave. So still missing either the mitts for a lot of entrances, or the connector to Laser Bridge, or the connector to Bumper.
Yeah, I think he's going. P-Train's heading over to Misery Mire. It's definitely the most dense location left. The only thing I think that would otherwise make sense would be just beating Skullwoods on the off chance that it's out of logic, but maybe it gives you something and you have to beat that crystal anyway.
Yeah, but at least you can beat the entirety of Mire at this point.
Yeah, you've got the green pendant on Vitreous, you have the cane with the big key, so you can do that.
I was like, and he's got two small keys, which doesn't put left side in logic, but like, in that same kind of assume you're missing one key to the dungeon that has many keys, you can kind of assume, okay, one of the spots that I've orphaned off probably has that last Mire key, and so you think of this as basically in logic at this point, unless you're just dead out of locations to check.
Yeah, we have found Sahasrara already a while ago. I don't remember exactly where he was, but it was something accessible early, so they'll be able to turn in the screen pendant.
I'll say, and in logic as well.
Yeah, because Vitreous, unlike a lot of the other bosses like Pelmasaur or Mothula that require all the small keys, Vidi doesn't require any.
Yeah, and it does kind of occasionally make Vidi in logic spookily early in a lot of seeds. Sometimes.
Yeah, I always feel like Vitreous in Crosskeys, it's very frequently you're either going to have silvers or you're going to be like Fighter Sword 7 Hearts. There's not much in between.
I will take silvers, thank you very much. I did a 20-minute 7-heart Fighter Sword Vitreous in the main tournament, and I would like to never do that again, thank you very much.
And sometimes you're just forced to because you can have the Moon Pearl or something on him that early. And it's not only does he not require that many items to get to, none of the items that he requires help to beat him. He can't use the hookshot or the cane or the boots or the big key to beat him.
Mostly true, yeah.
The boots can help
I would say that
other stuff.
The boots and hookshot help if you have a hammer, because once again you can do the thing where you put yourself in a hook state, which gives you a much better upward hammer swing and makes Hammer Vitreous a lot easier. And there is the big key to the Tower of Hera.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised to see at some point P-Train go over and clear out the Tower of Hera and Skullwoods. Those are both... Tower of Hera is the light pipe cave entrance, and then Skullwoods is the desert entrance by Thieves' Town. It's actually pretty dense dungeon-wise in the South Light World today.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me to see the third key to Mire show up just in the dungeon as well here to actually put completely in logic too.
So I think it might be good to sort of take inventory for what we still need for this seed. We're gonna need to find the Swamp Palace small key at some point. We need at least one Turtle Rock small key. I guess they could... No, I don't think there's any way to steal a key to get to Turtle Rock boss.
There is, but it's terrible. And no one's going to do it.
There's another... There's the last pod small, by the way.
You could go steal the key from... P-Train couldn't do it, but theoretically, if Lin hadn't made the plate of lava chest, he could steal the key from the Pokey. But
yeah.
That's assuming that Laser Bridge is accessible anyway.
And then we need the Fire Rod as well. And it looks like P-Train's going to elect to beat Hera before Vitreous, because Vitreous is kind of a long check. He has 2 items today instead of 1, but he's one of the longer single-item checks in the game. So he's just going to go out and clear out this boss, because the Tower of Hera is a really quick dungeon.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those... You understand both sides of it, because it is 2 items, it's fully in logic, it's been fully in logic for basically since P-Train got that Cane of Samaria. And revisiting isn't terrible, but you do have to redo the Mire 1, Mire 2 sequence, which, while not super long, does take a non-zero amount of time. Lin has not forfeit. Our best guess at this point is that his internet just kind of went out on him, and so his stream is cut out.
Yeah, and it would make a lot of sense, because this is a 5-2 match, a very important match, so if you're still got your race recording, you're not going to take some time to update what's going on. You got to make sure you get that race as good as possible.
These runners are playing quite literally for their tournament lives. The winner has a chance to advance to the bracket, and the loser is unfortunately eliminated. Yeah, Lin has popped up on Discord a couple of times. Toffel, I haven't said anything because I'm waiting for him to not vanish off of Discord when he pops up. But it may suggest that his internet is getting more stable.
All right, we got a tempered sword up to Moldorm, so that'll at least be nice if you have to go back to Vitreous. It'll be a quicker fight.
Yeah, definitely a good thing to pick up there.
Probably we'll make up the time of going back into Mire, but it seems like going to save some time.
No, but it'll cut the pain of it a lot.
Yeah, and you also get to save the one switch hit as well, going back into Mire, so it's going to be not even that bad.
Yeah, it's not that bad. I don't blame P-Train for bailing. Given what we had seen, I probably would have finished, but I understand why he bailed.
And we'll get to see that Spectacle Rock left connector. It's actually, I didn't realize P-Train never even got this item. Maybe he saw it and just didn't want to pick it up. Because sometimes you pick up that item just because then you can hookshot across should you find the top anywhere.
Yeah, that's some dark Forsaken technique that I think I've seen used in like a single-digit number of seeds ever. But as kind of expected at this point, there is Bumper Cave, and let's see if this is GT, because we have found most of our dungeons at this point. Not only is it not GT, it is not anything remotely useful.
Yeah, and I think then we won't have any connectors left, and that would put Laser Bridge at Vanilla location.
Yeah, we have no Turtle Rock keys to make it through there right now. So let's see where P-Train's heading at this point.
I wonder if he's going to head over to Dark Shopping Mall for the one entrance that he left behind earlier. We also have Catfish. Those are kind of close to each other.
I would say, not only are they kind of close to each other, they're actually in the same route. They're in the same, like, general route tree as each other.
Yeah.
You should kind of consider them adjacent locations, even though the topography of the world map may differ.
Yes, you
But
definitely
the
have to be
topography of the
thinking
world
more
map
portals in Crosskeys.
The topography of the world map does not care about whirlpools. Unlike you, as a runner, who should care very, very much about whirlpools, because whirlpools are awesome. Have we seen Bumbo's Tablet as well?
Yes, Bombo's Tablet, I believe, is the Uncle Bombs today.
Alright, well then. Yeah, not a lot left in terms of entrances, and it does feel like GT is kind of the prize, or GT or something with mitts is likely the prize that we're seeking at this point.
Yeah, so we've got first chest of Swamp Palace, and then those two Mire stuff, plus Catfish, and I'm not sure what else is left.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to defer to you on this one.
Yeah, you did miss most of it.
I will just kind of sit there and nod my head.
So this Catfish check is annoying because he was over here earlier, but just not having the glove, he can't come up here and get
Yeah,
it.
and P-Train did actually skip Hera Basement on his way through.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. That's another thing that's available.
I'm pretty anti-skipping Crosskeys in general, especially when you're not like down to an item or two. But it is very, very easy to revisit. The problem is going to be it's a check that you're very unwilling to revisit. Nice, lovely, excellent.
Yeah.
Have we found Potion Shop?
Yes, Potion Shop is on the top of West Death Mountain. It's in the Spectacle Rock top entrance.
That is disgusting.
And it could have faked powdered because we have the magic bat, but it doesn't want to worry about that.
No. Fake powder is a bad technique.
It's also not even in an easy location to get to. It's in the sanctuary entrance.
I would say most sort of like really veteran people will try to tell you that fake powdering is the kind of technique that you think about doing when it's virtually free to do.
Yeah, like
so
if you just happen to have both of the items you need to do it, and you're right next to the magic bat.
And your magic is low, or there's a really easy way to get magic back, or, I mean, there's a lot of sorts of things that go into it, but you want kind of all of them to be true to really make it worth it to fake powder. And to be fair, this can kind of vary from setting to setting, too. In something like open mode, where the powder might just be in GT, like, it's probably a worse play than it would be in something like Crosskeys, where maybe the powder's in the GT climb, but that could be required.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, in Crosskeys, efficiency is just kind of the name of the game.
Yeah, for sure. Because in Crosskeys, like there's so many more items, like the ice rod, that do not lock that many things. Like in open modes, like the hammer can't hide too well because it locks too much stuff. Whereas the big key to Turtle Rock or the big key to Palace of Darkness, they can just be anywhere. Okay, so we're going back to Vitreous. Don't really have that much else left, so it makes a lot of sense.
Yep. But this is one of those things where, theoretically, if Lin is playing a more completionist style, like, he's probably gaining time on things like this, or he would be gaining time on things like this, because it's not a huge cost, and yeah.
There's Lin, and Laser Bridge is confirmed to be vanilla over on his side. We'll have to see on Lin's personal tracker. It looks like he's got a couple of things that...
I think he's got a Fire Rod.
Yeah, that's the big one.
Alright, let's see if we can get our trackers as much help as possible to sort of eyeball any items that they see scrolling through.
It looks like he's got the same items as Lin, or as P-Train, and then some extra keys. He's beaten Vitreous, so I would not be at all surprised to see Fire Rod on or Vitreous or Green Pendant. And then he's got some extra keys, like he obviously has at least one TR key. Looks like 3 TR keys on his item. So that's good. You never want to see a runner get lost due to a power outage or something in a race of this caliber. So very nice to see P-Train able to make it back for us.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry. I was saying, honestly, like, Lin's kind of a treat to watch at Crosskeys too. Like, he's one of the best people that you'll find in the entire... I mean, he's last year's champion, of course he's good. But he's one of the best people that you'll find, particularly in kind of putting routes together that maybe are non-obvious at first in terms of how they link, but when sort of you look at the whole, like, oh wow, that was a really fast and efficient way to do this. Speaking of fast and efficient, that was a very nice Vitreous fight from P-Train. As Linlinlin claims his, quote, first, unquote, crystal of the match, and it does not look like Vitreous had anything.
So yeah, we'll have to look at that pendant, because we still have Hera Basement as well. Which we have seen on Linlinlin's tracker. He has beaten Hera, so it could be.
I was saying he's not gonna. I mean, he hasn't skipped Hera Basement. He's done it, but like Lin is not really the skipping kind in Crosskeys. He's very much in the like efficient full clear mindset.
Oh, it's the mitts. So we're probably, maybe that Fire Rod is over. It could be in GT, because it's really hard. It looks like Lin's probably ahead, just looking at this, but it really depends if the Fire Rod's just sitting in an item cave. It's probably not a very big lead. Though with the 3 Turtle Rock keys make me think that Fire Rod is in GT over here.
Does Lin have his mitts marked on it? I mean, I have to assume he has them, but... Oh, there's the powder. And there is Bombos from Isremeyer.
Yeah, I can't.
Judging on the timer, yes, I would say Lim's stream is synced. They're both at the 156.50x mark right now. And hey, look, it's a Turtle Rock key for P-Train. Imagine that.
Yeah, who would have thought?
I think Lin might be killing Ganon right now. Oh wait, no, this is Magic Powder. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Where's
Ganon's at Useless Fairy.
Okay, thank you.
That would be quite the excitement to see just the last bosses.
Surprise, motherfucker! But yep, nothing on Mr. the Bat. And I don't think GT, if I'm reading Lin's tracker right, GT is not in Meyer area, because he's still showing 27 items left in GT.
Okay. And we see that also, Linlinlin did the Aghanim fight as well for the Kakariko Well on his tracker.
Yep. And he has also done the Helmosaur fight for
the hook shot.
The hook shot. And does have all 6 keys to there as well. Yeah, everybody, this is a great time to send some energy to Scott.
Yeah.
I actually wonder if the Fire Rod is going to have shown up on Laser Bridge.
Yeah, that's
getting
true.
that many Turtle Rock keys in a row is a little bit telling that the game probably wants you to cut through.
Yeah, because we know that Turtle Rock, the Laser Bridge, is locked by going in through the front of Turtle Rock. That's got to be a Turtle Rock small, right? Yeah, so that's the. I think that's the second one.
That's 2.
Because he found another key, but it was GT. This one, let's go.
Lynn has also done Turtle. Oh, you mean the entrance of Turtle Rock? Yes, that is also a thing. Hey, it's a key to Turtle Rock. Crazy.
Yeah, I think you're right about the Fire Rod being on Laser Bridge. We probably just barely missed Linlinlin picking up that Fire Rod.
Yeah. All right. Well, so if I'm reading Lynn's tracker right, he is a small and a Thieves big from Go Mode, which is what P-Train is at as well, except P-Train does not have the Fire Rod yet. But if we assume that the Fire Rod's going to be on Laser Bridge, then we will see. And I think this is probably the first Hookshot Cave entrance we've seen as well.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet. And they certainly would have bombed through this wall if they had found it, because they hit the 4 chests in here.
As there is Monsieur Butter Sword.
Like...
Lynn, by the way, taking the correct route through Hookshot Cave, by the way, if you're planning on traversing it back to front, which is you grab... Okay, well, that wasn't correct, but... You grab the 3 chests here, and then you leave all these skulls up so that you can hook yourself back out. And it is the fastest way to get through. And there is the right side of Misery Mire going to Logic.
Alright, that's why we didn't see Hookshot Cave ever, because it was Hammer Pegs and GT, so it's Mitz locked and 7 Crystal locked.
And I suspect there's a good chance we're going to see Turtle Rock coming from Lynn here as well. So we'll take the opportunity afforded by that Hookshot Cave connector to check one of the worst entrances in the game to check.
Yeah. And it's sick, kid. We haven't seen one here. It's here yet.
So I was gonna guess it's probably not the Fire Rod then.
Yeah. It's just $20. So it looks like P-Train's going to go over to the Ice Palace entrance, because I don't think he knows that he's really got to probably go to the Laser Bridge at this point. Because he doesn't have the Fire Rod, so it doesn't feel fun.
To a degree, you want to be greedy too because you want to just be like, okay, I can avoid going through that connector at all. But unfortunately, it looks like no.
Because I think he probably knows at this point that Laser Bridge is in its vanilla location.
It sure seems quite likely, doesn't it?
We saw it on Linlinlin's side that it is there, but just given that he's seen every other connector and hasn't seen that guaranteed spot yet, unless I'm missing one of the connectors, he should know that it's very likely to be there. But this looks like going over to Turtle Rock, because the Turtle Rock... No, he's probably going to take a pit stop, maybe pick up the Smiths first. But the Turtle Rock right entrance is in the North Dark World.
It looks like P-Train is trying hard to kind of go for connectors or entrances rather than the guaranteed items, though, right now. Probably thinking that he's hunting down GT right now, as the Smiths, by the way, have the Swamp Small key. So Lynn is going to head in and take a quick swim for at least 7 items.
Yeah,
we'll see
absolutely.
If he goes for more.
I mean, if you figure that Lynn is about as bottlenecked as P-Train, he hasn't done Catfish, so he doesn't... Oh, okay, he does have the lamp, but he hasn't done Catfish yet, so he's got a few locations that P-Train's done, but he's probably going to want to full clear this.
Yeah, I mean, so Lynn right now says, hey, I'm 1 item from Go Mode. So what he's looking for at this point is going to be to do the fastest checks possible.
Yeah.
So Lin here is going to skip left side swamp on his way through.
Yeah, for sure.
The question is he going to go back into swamp after? And I think that's a artifact of how much does Lin have left right now.
Yeah, and I gotta kind of wonder where Ganon's Tower is going to be, because we already know it's not Pyramid Crack and it's not Ganon's Tower vanilla entrance, because we've seen both of those.
Well, so I think Toffel said that it's going to have to be the back of Skull Woods.
Ah, yes, that would make sense. Yeah, because that's like the only thing we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, so this is Lin making his I'm not doing left side first route. Because if he were doing left side first, he would have jumped down upward from that key and then gone straight across to left. Not that I expected him to, but...
Yeah, when you're one item from Go Mode, you're not going to see many people do left side first, because the expected value of the time save from doing it first is lower than if you were to just find your item back here. Alright, P-Train's making his way to Laser Bridge.
Yep.
The Ether Medallion's not going to do anything for us today, so not particularly useful there on Linlin's side.
As I suspect that we're going to see the Fire Rod pop up here on Laser Bridge for P-Train.
Yeah, that's definitely a good bet.
Where was the back of Skullwoods?
Back of Skullwoods is it's by the purple chest guy. It's in that ferry, that normal ferry entrance.
Okay, so that's probably where Lin is planning on routing in his Mothula kill as well. Hey,
Yeah.
look, it's the Fire Rod! Crazy!
See, normally we're used to Ice Rod on Laser Bridge to let you go in and beat Trinex, but today we're getting Fire Rod.
Alright, Lin clubs off Argus here, and is rewarded with the map of Turtle Rock. But yeah, I would definitely agree that from game state and just kind of trying to take an eye on what each one has marked, it does look like Linlinlin has probably about a 5-minute lead right now, I would say.
Yeah, because it's going to be hard to think, like, what sort of route could P-Train do to really save a lot of time? Because it looks like that last key is just going to be in Ganon's Tower, given what we've seen so far from both the runners. And then, so maybe P-Train can go there earlier, but if he does, then when does he go to the Smith?
P-Train with some red-blue color blindness issues there. And Lin is pushing off left side right now, and is just going to kill Mothula here.
Yep, makes a lot of sense. It could just be the big key on here, and you need to do this anyway, so it makes a lot of sense to do this now. I mean, it would be a little nicer if you could combo Thieves Town right after, but that's such a marginal time save.
Yeah, especially with the flute, it's really not a big deal.
Yeah, compared to the time save you would get if you found the Thieves Town big key in here.
And I suspect even more than just, hey, I have Skullwoods, the other thing that made Lin skip left side here is the fact that he knows that GT is sitting out there. And he's been spit out of GT, so he knows that GT isn't in GT.
Yeah,
so he knows that
and he also
to be accessible out there for himself.
He also saw the pyramid crack even, so he knows he doesn't even have to do the bomb thing.
Yep. So he may actually just be down to Skullwoods at this point. And yes, in terms of a per check per minute play, it's absolutely the better play.
And Swamp Palace isn't terrible to get back to with the flute.
Okay, so in most cases, in Turtle, or going through most doors in Turtle Rock logically requires 4 small keys. Laser Bridge is the exception because if you can reach Laser Bridge, it means that you have to be able to reach Laser Bridge to spend that last small key to get to Trinex. That means, logically speaking, the seed required you to go all the way to Laser Bridge, pick up your fire rod, leave, go kill Mothula, and then come back with your last key.
Well, I'm sure that's what everybody would do for this seed, right?
Yep. I always want to take a couple of good runners and make them do a no logic break race where the winner is the last person to accidentally break logic.
Yeah,
and just watch key logic play absolute havoc. You'd probably have to disable key for key on it, because that's not really what you want. I was saying, I think Lin right now is kind of checking his last couple entrances here, looking for the GT find.
And this makes a lot of like if you're tracking entrances, he's got to know that connector he just took was pretty likely to be this if he hasn't already seen it, and then it takes you right to Skullwoods, so it's just really nice routing combo.
I would go so far as to say that he was 100% sure that it would go there.
Yeah, because he's either seen it or he's seen all the other ones.
And here comes P-Train, looking for his logical link to kill Trinex. And also a crystal, I guess.
And I bet Linlinlin, or no, he has to go to the back. He definitely did the Skullwoods big already because he got that really early.
Yeah, he's got 8 of 8 marked. Or not marked on his actual tracker. Or on the compass. The one that you can't mess up. Unlike any words from me, which all apparently can mess up.
Yep, surprise, GT's here. It was the only entrance that we have not seen. So we'll see. I mean, it's pretty likely, because there's 27 items in here, that the big Thieves Town Big will be in here. But it could still be Left Side Swamp or Purple Chest.
By the way, I love this. Lynn saying, hey, I've got all 4 keys to GT. I'm just going to open the trapdoor here. Because it is a faster way to get back over to left side. And so I suspect what we'll see is he'll take this all the way to Ice Armos. If that doesn't give you the Thieves Town Big, he will then turn around and head to... we'll turn around and head down right side and finally end on the GT climb. Continuing, by the way, the logic of the Legend of Trinex logic. In order to get that Turtle Rock small key from Mothula, you had to use the fire rod to burn the back of Skull Woods so that you could get the Skull Woods small.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, this is last Skullwood small, looks like, so that would... Just that Skullwood small, not even anymore.
Yep, that is the one that puts it into logic. And it looks like P-Train has the same read on Skull Woods as Lin. But this is a little problematic for P-Train.
Yeah, absolutely, because if Linlinlin finds the Thieves Town Big in here, he's just going to leave and go and finish the boss that he needs to win. But if P-Train finds it, he's going to keep going because he still needs a Swamp Small.
Yeah, definitely one of those positions that Swamp Small is going to be a very, very nasty go. I suspect that that's what P-Train is going to end up in.
Yeah, and I was thinking the out that P-Train has is, so if GT is completely empty, and, I don't know, maybe he leaves without doing the climb, whereas Linlinlin does the climb, and then P-Train does the full Smith sequence to find both the keys, then that would be an out for him.
Alright, so in P-Train's last tournament match, his go mode was the Thieves Town Big Key, and it was on the GT climb, and GT was in Skull Woods.
Oh no.
I know this because I was his opponent, and it was off my go mode, but I given basically where Skull Woods is, I can't imagine, or given where GT is, I can't imagine that P-Train is just going to say, hey, I'm not going to climb here. Like, it's so bad to come back to.
I think it would have to be a situation where you're feeling like, okay, I'm definitely behind here. I need to make a play.
Yeah, but even if you're feeling that way, a lot of times the play that you make then is to do the scarier looking play of the climb, because you're not trying to say, hey, I'm just going to try to like shave a couple minutes by skipping. You're going to be like, I'm going to try to shave 15 minutes by finding my go mode faster than you.
Yep, good point.
And if, for instance, P-Train thinks the Swamp Small is on the climb and the Thieves Town Big is in the basement, he might say, you know what, maybe Lin took his Thieves Town big and left, so I'm going to climb trying to zag while Lin zigs, not understanding that Lin is already a zigzagoon, as it were. But meanwhile, we're going to see Zero Rush Swamp Small is on Smiths.
We'll see. Let's see the compass room over on Linlinlin's side. Then tile room in the climb is really all he's got left before left side swamp again.
PT Big is not on Ether Tablet. That is the compass to Thieves Town.
Yes. Those flavor texts in Key Sanity that you don't see, and there's
Thieves Town Big is in the and Lin's gonna feel bad about taking his smart route through GT too now. Unfortunately, I think P-Train's going to feel worse.
Yeah. So Lin's just got to go over and beat blind. We get to see a nice... this is the nicest possible go mode Thieves Town, because you can skip getting that key that's by the blind arena for a little bit of time.
Well, we'll see if Lin can beat the IQ check to defeat his muscle memory.
Yeah, you get to save, instead of saving, 5 seconds, you get to save, 10.
Yeah. Thieves Town Go mode, huge. Absolutely huge. I will say this, though, for that Thieves Town Big Key, at least this time Thieves Town isn't in pod, which is where it was last time.
Yeah, that pod entrance is one of the most annoying entrances in the game. And Linlinlin doesn't need to get the small key, and... we'll get saved time. And yeah, that's definitely, in Retrons, you can definitely, that helps to remedy the muscle memory issue, because you do that all the time in that.
Forbidden retro technique.
Yeah, we'll have to ask Linlinlin when he gets back how his seed ended up going, because we didn't get to see the middle part of it. And P-Train's, we'll see what P-Train elects to do once he finds that Thieves Town Big, because like you're mentioning, it's about the same amount of items, and you can definitely go either way if you're feeling behind. Feeling behind might make you want to do the climb.
Yeah. If I felt bad, I think in this scenario I would climb. We'll see how bad P-Train feels in a second here. He's thinking. Okay, and he's leaving. Oh, so that's definitely one of those things that where I'm in that situation where I'm at 2 items from go mode. The entire time I'm doing this, because more or less execution-wise I'm kind of autopiloting this, all I'm going through is in the scenarios of what can I find here? What of those things is going to make me leave? What is going to make me stay? And so at the point where you find all of those things, you can just say, hey, I'm going to bail. And so you can either say, you know what, I'm going to climb no matter what here unless I hit go mode, or you can just say, you know what, Thieves Town Big, that's enough for me. I'm leaving.
Yeah, because between the two, the Thieves Town Big unlocks fewer locations than the Swamp Small would have, so maybe that's why he had to think a little bit.
Unfortunately for P-Train, it's not going to matter either way.
Nope, he was pretty much drawing dead once Linlinlin found that Thieves Town Big right there.
Yeah, and honestly, he was kind of drawing dead as soon as he went to GT. Because what he needed to do at this point was make the opposite play of what Lin was going to do. And since he ended up making the same play as Lin, I mean, not the wrong play by P-Train by any standards, obviously he doesn't know what state he's in. But from an independent observer state, you can get a little bit better of an idea.
Yeah.
As Lin is going to start cooking, heat up the grill a little bit to start cooking the bacon.
Yep, gonna have gold sword and silver arrows, so it'll be a nice quick Ganon fight, which you often see in those Crosskeys races. Only need 6 hits, but we don't like Ganon on the stream, so Linlinlin's gonna give us some extra hits.
I mean, not a lot else to do during the Ganon fight than whack him like a pinata. If Lin is rivaling my tournament experience at all, he's now has the room open on the other monitor and is just kind of side-eyeing it as sweat drops begin to glisten on his head.
Oh, absolutely. When you've been in a seed this long, you just gotta worry, my opponent can be done any second.
Yeah. Because I don't think you ever feel good. Oh no. Poor Betray.
What did he get?
He got the Big Key to Swamp in the Thieves' Big.
Oh.
And one more shot should do it here for Lin, who is going to move to 6-2 and qualify for the big race.
Yep, we'll get to defend his title in this first the play-in race, and then perhaps eventually the tournament. So get your good games in chat for Linlinlin. All right, we'll see if either of these runners want to join for an interview.
Lin has confirmed he has a local record that he will upload, so his internet issues should be fine.
That's very good. And P-Train have seen Linlinlin finishing is going to want to forfeit rather than continue on a Swamp Small Hunt.
I don't blame that. If I'm in go mode, I will usually finish out, but if I'm still looking for stuff, I'm just done.
Yeah, it's definitely, that could take another 20 minutes before you find that.
And I mean, especially like this is week 8, like most of the runners at this point are probably getting a little bit tired and being like, you know what, I could use a break, especially for P-Train, as we're now joined by Lin, who was sitting at 5-1 and dropped 2 in a row, which has to feel not particularly great. GG's, Lin.
Hello, GG's.
Thank you for letting us play guessing game on where the fire rod was.
Laser break.
No. We guessed it right by the time that P-Train got it. But your stream kicked back on right when you ran out of laser.
I noticed at some point because my tracker was kind of acting iffy. I was like, "What's happening?" And I'm looking at my OBS and I was like, "Oh, it's red." Yes, I don't have internet. And the router is kind of like 3 rooms apart from where I am, so I'm like, do I want to get up and try to fix it? I know I'm local recording, so not really. I don't really want to.
Yeah, and we're now also joined by P-Train. GG's, P-Train?
GG's, P-Train.
GG's.
I hope you get to enjoy a solo commentary for about half of the race before Lin's internet kicks back on here. But yeah, ultimately just kind of came down to that Vitreous kill, I think. I can't really say we can't really speak to how Lin routed.
Okay, so you remember what the cane was, so it was hookshot locked.
Yes.
Yeah, Vitreous logic confused the crap out of me.
It is hookshot locked. And that's why, I mean, I don't know if you saw it, but even though Meyer is just sitting in CAC, I'm like, I am not cutting Vitreous if I don't have a hookshot. Because, like, I need that hookshot, so why would I bother with Vitreous when I don't even have the hookshot to put the cane in logic?
That makes sense, because, yeah, that hookshot was not in a nice location.
I was thinking that Vitreous was locked behind all of the Meyer Smalls. But there was a small key in Hookshot Cave for Meyer. And Hookshot Cave was locked behind GT and the Mitts. And Mitts were behind Vitreous.
The funny part is, like, after I got the hookshot, I'm like,
Yeah.
that doesn't do anything right now.
I was playing catch up with the logic most of the scene because I subbed in for Blibroll in the middle of the calm, so I missed the first hour and 15 minutes of the race. And so not only was I only coming in late, I was also coming in late with only one person actually showing a stream at the time, which was a little bit spooky. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, I don't know. Did you see? I don't think you said anything in race chat, but the Swamp Small you were looking for was on Smiths. And so Lynn ended up in kind of an enviable position where he got to go into GT with nothing but his Thieves Town big for go mode. I was saying, I definitely saw you kind of sit there. You got your Thieves Town big, and you're like, do I leave? Do I stay? Do I climb? Can you sort of talk about what was on your mind when you were doing that?
Yes, so I felt like this whole seed just felt horrible for me. At no point did I feel. Yeah, at no point did I feel like I was in the lead. I skipped Thieves Town twice. Not Thieves Town. I skipped Skull Woods twice. So flippers were very, very, if not a last location, they were very, very late for me. And of course that locked the boots, and even the route to last locate the flippers felt really bad. So I felt like I needed something crazy. And I don't know, all of my attempts to come back were things like, oh, let's go back to Pod to check the big key chest. Let's go to Swamp to check the front of Swamp. Let's kill Landmo, even though I don't have the Desert Small and it's appendant. And none of those things paid out. Absolutely none of those things paid out. So then I went to Vitreous and I found the Hera Big Key. I'm like, alright, let's skip one thing finally. Let's skip Vitreous. And of course that did not work out. So now I'm in GT and I'm still feeling super behind. And I get the Thieves Town Big Key. I'm trying to figure out if I should climb or not. And it took me a while to piece all of it together, but I'm like, Thieves Town is in the light world. So I really could just mirror defeat Thieves, and if Thieves doesn't have anything, then my portal is saved. And I thought about the Smiths, but I was like, screw the Smiths, screw all tile rooms.
It's kind of hard not climbing Aga Tower in that state. I feel like it is very hard. Cause
you're kind of forced into it, logically at least. You're kind of forced into it too, because it locks at least the hookshot in there. And
yeah,
so
and my route...
the seed is going to throw it at you, being like, you should climb Aga Tower, when really, no, you shouldn't, but
my
if
route,
logic, you will.
I was really confused. No, I wouldn't say confused, but I don't know. I was very frustrated with the early game because I was just like, dear God, where is a dungeon? For the longest, all we had was Turtle Rock and Mire with no hookshot, no boots.
Yo.
And I could kill Helmasaur. I can full clear Eastern if I could find either of them. So I kind of went a bit entrance heavy, even to the point where I'm like, this isn't the cleanest way to route it, but I feel like if I can find one of these dungeons, I might find items that, particularly a glove that just helps me get around the world. Super early hammer, super early pearl, super early mirror, but then glove took me forever to get to on Zora because of the flipper situation. Then being on top of Hyrule Castle, I decided to scout the Elder's house before doing Super Bunny, and then got locked out of the Bonk Rocks.
I went back immediately. That was very annoying.
Yeah, and it's just little things like that. I'm like, there. And then when I finally found the flippers, I'm like, all right, this is the last location. There's absolutely no way I have outrouted Lynn up to this point. And I just kept doing all these random checks trying to come back, and nothing worked out. So by the time I hit GT, I'm like, yeah, this is I'm just waiting for the dot done at this point.
I didn't feel great, because I went back to Pod. I triple dip Pod, because when I saw it was a pen, I was like, I have 4 keys. Guess I'm not gonna kill Helmasaur. And then, yeah, I was kind of forced back into it. I even checked, I didn't know it was I checked the pedestal when I was going to Ice Palace to see if I wanted to kill Helmasaur King. But I did that.
Yeah, I did not know if Helmasaur... I didn't know if Pod was pendant or crystal my first time in with 4 small keys. So I just did everything that I could except for the big key chest. I actually rushed Helma. So I had the hook shot before even doing like the dark maze and all that stuff, which was kind of nice. But again, it took me so long to get there because, you know, flippers led to the boots, led to the flute, you know, all that like flippers hard locked like all of the seed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of expected things might go this way. Yeah, I had a pretty respectable run through Swiss, losing to Schultzer, then losing to Allison. And there were like maybe 3 people that I wanted to dodge out of everyone I could get matched up with this round. You know, I mean, everyone's a good player, but 3 people in particular, I was like, I don't think I can beat these people. I don't think I have a chance against these people. And of course, top of that list would of course be the champion from last year. So it's kind of funny to get all the way to the end of Swiss, and you know, it's like, oh yeah, by the way, here's your, you know, hardest matchup based off of the results from last year, and I was like, oh great.
Yeah, so, I remember talking to you after our match last week, and I was like, well, you know, like, I feel like you've got a pretty good chance of making the race. I'm looking at this, and I'd say I would probably favor you against 60, 70% of the list of people sitting at 5 and 2. And then I saw the matchups, and I'm just like, oh, that's an F.
Yeah.
That's I mean, like, obviously, you can win. You are certainly capable of winning, but that's not one I'm going to give you the favorite nod in.
Yeah, no, I don't think there were... I would be surprised if more than a handful of people, if that many, would put me as a favorite over Lin. Lin's an excellent Crosskeys runner.
Thank
So,
you.
So yeah, it was it's been a fun. I'm actually legit sad that I missed the play-in race, but of course I would have been sad to knock Linlin out of it as well.
I think it's going to be really hyped to watch though too. Like, in terms of, like, evenness and stackness, like, this is going to be about as stacked of a big race as we've seen in a long time, minus, like, losing the, like, top 5 or 6 people who all have kind of qualified already.
Yeah. But, it's been a fun tournament, though. Thanks to all the admins and everyone who's put it on. Really enjoyed it. Sad to not make the bracket stage, but it is what it is. I mentioned this last week, but, if I wasn't gonna make the play-in race, I would rather go 0-3 rather than 5-3. So, you know, just to kind of take all the pressure off. It was last week was a little bit of pressure, but even this race, especially when you do something like last locate flippers, like 50 minutes into the race, it's like, oh well, I've already lost, but it's probably bad form to forfeit. You know, maybe Lin just, you know, chokes on a sandwich and forgets to mark an entrance. So you never know in these things. So
I mean, for a while we weren't sure of, like, did Lin's power go out? Did his internet drop? Like, we weren't actually sure what it was, and so he almost, for all intents and purposes, did the virtual equivalent of choking on a sandwich.
But yeah, GG's Lin. Good luck in the rest of the tournament. You better win it again this year, is all I gotta say.
Thank you. I'll try. It's gonna be hard, but I'll try.
Yeah, GG's Lin and P Train. And congrats on both having really great records. And I guess anyone else have anything to say before we wrap it up? Because I'm a little stressed out, not gonna lie.
Yeah, that was a little stressful.
Yep.
Do we have sort of the list of people that are going to be in the play-in race for people who are curious?
I can try
That we might
and
be able
look
to
it up.
display in a somewhat friendly way. I was like, I can, if nothing else, I can read it off of the Discord, but that's not. Let's see.
Don't ask me to put something in OBS, please.
All right, so
Chat
I'll just.
It's
Chat
already
had
up on the
fun.
screen, guys. Just get out your magnifying glasses.
Yeah,
No,
it's there.
chat
It's
had
there.
fun watching me try and put text. Lynn, when your stream was down, I had to figure out how to put text where your black feed was, and it took me a while because I don't do personal streaming.
So
I totally
if you guys
forgot.
zoom in between the 0 and the 8 of the 21908, you will see the following list of names on the stream. But the 17 runners right now who are sitting at 6 and 2, of which 10 will advance to the bracket play for top 16, are Andy, Brevi, Dataplet, Dazed Cloud, Frede, Illis, Jay Coper, Julo Ninja, Kiryu, I don't know how to pronounce your name, I'm sorry, Linlinlin, Malxanthalos, Ramond, R.D. Walsh, Scoople, Structural Mike, the Boulder 300, and Wall Kicks. So 10 of those runners will join, and I really shouldn't have closed this one off, will join Goomba, Scholzer, Humbug, me, Zelda-Dasan, and T-Stew as sort of the top 16 in this tournament, and play out the rest of the tournament. You can't tell, but I'm giving a thumbs up at the screen right now.
Yeah, we'll put one up for you.
And when's that play-in race going to be, Allison?
So the play-in race is scheduled right now for Saturday morning / afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern. And hopefully we will get multiple restreams going of this so that we can get as many of the runners, if not all of the runners, across different streams. Although the exact plans for that TBD. There's a slight chance that the time could get moved if we can find a time that's amenable for everyone, but I would say it's very unlikely. If nothing else, keep an eye on the Crosskeys tournament Discord, where it will certainly be announced if the time of it moves, but for right now I would expect it to stay in the time that it is.
Yeah, we'll definitely want to catch that race, because it'll be fun to see those 17 high-caliber runners all going at it on the same seed.
Yeah, the only thing is don't expect more than a 2-runner restream on any channel. We might
On
also...
GSR, I mean. Because I know some people could and would like.
Yeah, I
like
think
Allison would do to restream some people.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to do
Like,
that.
if people, like, as I'm speaking as an admin right now, if people actually want to have, like, restream some people for that play-in race, they're like, just tell us. You'll be free to do so. I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because it definitely needs to be a 2-runner restream, because I remember restreaming the first qualifier ever for Crosskeys, and it was 4 runners, and I knew it was going to be bad. It was really bad, and we only had 2 trackers, so it was, and I calmed
that race. That was
It was horrible. It was horrible.
Yeah, it was rough. It was very rough.
Yes, 4 runners, Crosskeys, 4 divergent runners. Oh my god, yeah, it was bad. But I didn't have authority at that time to say no. So, okay.
This isn't the end of Swiss. I think there's a couple matches that still need to play out.
No, I think this is, because remember there was a...
Oh, you're right. Okay, this might actually...
Yeah, we had
one of them kind of played at the last minute. Yeah, okay. I think this may actually be the last match in Swiss, which feels pretty awesome, because this has been a really fun tournament so far.
Yeah, no, Tom will touch. Sentient Flatbread versus Magnificent is not going to happen, because Sentient Flatbread forfeited. They didn't have time to race, and they apparently have another tournament coming up that they wanted to ready for, so that's done.
Yep, so it's down to 23 people right now, if I can count correctly.
I'm not sure.
But yeah, hopefully everybody's enjoyed the tournament.
Yes.
I also hope that the best is yet to come.
Same.
Because we should get some pretty kick-ass matchups going on here.
We're going to have a lot of high-caliber racing coming up soon. So thanks again, Dane and Allison and Blibberl for doing commentary, and also Tofile and Scott for doing tracking today. I always appreciate it. GG's again, Lynn. Good luck in the upcoming race. And I guess we'll call it a night. So thanks everyone for joining us, and we hope to see you again soon. So take care. Bye.